This one is called The Voice. Hearing God through prophecy. And we're going to talk through this book tomorrow. And this one is called The Joy of the Cross. Did Jesus get his joy? So that is too big for us. I must have been standing in the wrong queue when God handed out the height. So this book is the book that I wrote as part of my thesis when I was doing my studies. So we've had a little bit from that book today. And I want to give these two to Bishop. Now they are in English, so you have to read English. We're kind of working on the translations. So, what I want to do, and I realize we're running out of time, but I still want to do it today, because it will move on for what we're going to do tomorrow. So one of the things that is really important as a Christian is actually to have your prayer language. And it's something that I believe every person who gets born again, the next thing should be that they get baptized and speak in tongues. So and it's not hard. There's a process that you can go through that can make this really easy. So why should we even bother about speaking in tongues? Is it something important or just something that some people do? You see, tongues is the only one of the gifts that is for us personally. So, when I was first born again, as I said earlier, they said to me, you need to get the gifts. And particularly to get tongues. Amen. Amen. So I got born again somewhere around Easter 1987. And 6 weeks later at Pentecost, I got baptized in the Holy Spirit. So now I didn't realize how significant that was. It was kind of cool, right, to get baptized on Pentecost. And over the years, the tongue has changed and developed and grown. And tongues is one thing that gives you a direct line to heaven, to God. So it's a language that you can speak that the enemy doesn't understand what you're saying. So you can edify and build yourself up. You can pray for other people. When you don't know the words to use, you can use your tongue. And there's many benefits from being able to speak in tongues. So here, now, back in the 1900s, you remember that guy we talked about, the Black American? When tongues broke out through America,
so endimi kuzahereze kubingwa muri America
they believed that the language you spoke was the people group that God was calling you to.
bateekateka ngo olurimi olushemeye kuba nirugambwa n'olurimi rw'abantu mukama biyayesere.
And so you had lots of white missionaries turning up in Africa,
kuba akamanya g'enshonga ahabw'enkyaba ya missionaries bizire muri Africa
speaking to the local people,
baasa kugamba abantu ba bulijjo
and the local people going, oh, we don't understand.
kandi abantu ba bulijjo tukumanya rurimi orwe.
Because it's not always a language that humans understand.
Tukugira ngo n'olurimi rwa buri muntu weena nakyenda.
I remember a testimony of a pastor that was my pastor for a while.
So obujulizi obu yabaase kutunga.
And we were doing a baptism, and this young lady is being prayed for.
So obu yahereze kubatizibwa amushana obulizira aruwe.
And he's praying in tongues because he kind of run out of things to say.
So akabaasa kutunga ekyokyo ky'okubaasa kugamba omu ndimi.
And she said to him afterwards, you prayed in perfect Filipino.
So yabanza kushaba yashaba omu olwo olurimi.
So Filipino, the language of the Philippines.
So olurimi rw'Abafilipi.
So sometimes other people can hear your tongue in their own language.
So omwe n'omwe abantu bahura eshara zaawe omu rurimi rwawe.
Now in Acts chapter 2, on the day of Pentecost,
omu byakozwe b'entumwa aha kiro kya Pentecost,
God orchestrated those people to be in Jerusalem at that time.
So Ruhanga akabaasa kubaasa abantu kubaasa kugamba omu ndimi.
And the disciples started speaking in tongues.
Kandi abakurasi ba Yesu Kristo baatandika kugamba omu ndimi ezo.
And each of the people that were there heard them in their own language.
Kandi abaana bamwe baatandika kugamba omu rurimi rwabo.
God did a special thing that day.
Kandi Ruhanga akareeta ekintu ky'omutaana aizooba eyo.
Because those people then went back home
Abantu kubaagalikireyo nk'owaabo.
and took the gospel to their own nations.
So baatandika kubuura enjiri y'amahanga goona.
So tongues is sometimes a language people understand.
So olurimi n'olw'abantu bingi bokubaasa kucenga.
And sometimes it's just the language of the angels.
Kandi omwe n'omwe n'olurimi rw'abamalaika.
It can be just gentle as you're worshiping and praying in tongues yourself.
So noobaasa kuhingisa ningoramye omu rurimi.
Or it can be forceful and warfare or praise to God.
Kandi kibaasa kuba ekintu ky'omutwaro ohimbisibwe omu maisho ga Ruhanga.
So I suspect that many of you here
Kandi nteekateeka bingi omuri imwe
already speak in tongues.
nimugamba omu ndimi.
But I also suspect that there's many that don't quite do it yet.
Kandi ninkimanya ninteekateeka bamwe omuri imwe abamwe timukakitandikire kukikora.
And want this gift.
Ahabw'ekyo kyokyo
One of the things that Paul writes, remember we read it earlier,
kandi ekintu kikuru ahari imwe,
you have to desire earnestly the spiritual gifts.
so oine kusharamu kubaasa kukozesa ekicwekyo ky'omwoyo.
I'm going to invite you to come and receive your tongue shortly.
So nimbaasa kwikiriza ngu oyakiire obwosa orurimi rwawe.
But don't come if you're half-hearted about it.
Otakiija waana oreeba ngu omutima gwawe tuguboniire gye.
Just come if you want to take this opportunity.
So obaase kwiija waana onda kutwara omu kishonga.
Amen?
Amiina.
I remember another testimony of somebody doing what I'm about to do now.
So ninyijukaho obujulizi obunkwenda kukoraho hati ah'omuntu omwe.
And he was calling people forward to come and receive tongues.
So akaana yeta abantu kubaasa kwakiira endimi.
And this pastor came down to receive tongues.
Kandi ogwo pasita yarugayo kwakiira olw'orurimi.
And he said to him, what are you doing here?
Yababuuza hamuriho nimukoraho ki?
You've raised people from the dead.
So mbaase kuhimbuura abantu okuruga omu kufa.
And they said to him, yes, I know, but I don't have tongues.
Baagira ngu ego ntukimanya konka titwine endimi.
So if you're a leader or a pastor, don't be shy. Get this tongue.